Welcome back to On the Road podcast brought to you by the Road Freight SME Summit. I hope you have booked your ticket. I'm Florence Musundwa, and today we have the joys of having on the show my co-presenter who's going to be on the hot seat, Mark, who's the CEO of MLM Logistics. Hi, Mark.
Hello. Hello.
How does it feel that side?
It's good. It's good. It's a bit
Aren't
hot.
you nervous?
It's a hot sit. Hot sit. But
Aren't you nervous?
I am. I'm wondering what questions you're
Oh,
going to ask me.
Ringo.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
But before we get into the conversation, let us just look into this video clip about MLM Logistics.
MLM Logistics is a company that offers logistics services across various industries in South Africa. We pride ourselves in offering flexible, quick, and efficient services. We are a 100% black-owned company that have integrated SHEC by being ISO 9001 accredited. We offer road freight transportation of high-value commodities such as chrome concentrate, alloy, slag, ore, and platinum to our clients. We believe in the provision of transportation, reliability, experience, industry-focused cross-border technology, and innovation. We aim to become the largest leading black-owned logistics company in Africa.
We have significantly increased our fleet and positively exposed ourselves to industry by partnering with Road Freight SME Summits, legitimizing our participation in the transportation industry. As a medium-sized logistics company, we pride ourselves on bringing about some positives, including but not limited to job creation, poverty alleviation, and economic improvement. As a learning institution, we aim to create the blueprint for an institution of learning for the SMEs in our sector. This approach not only speaks to the company's growth, but also extends to the larger boundaries of the communities we exist in. At MLM Logistics, we believe in strategic partnership with both private and public sector that are viable and profitable.
Great. Welcome back. So, Mark, I would like us to start with icebreakers, right? Before we get into talking about how you've started MLM Logistics from one truck to over 50 trucks.
Yes.
What's your current favorite song at the moment? How can I
like? Funny enough, I like Brown Skin Girl.
Brown Skin Girl.
It's a yes.
No.
Yeah,
what about it?
I think it's a confidence song.
Is it?
Yeah, especially for us, of color. It tells you that it's got that pump up thing. You're gonna do well. You're gonna be good. Be strong.
Is it?
Yeah.
I would have never thought.
I know. I stumbled upon it.
Is it? You're like,
yeah, I stumbled upon it. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
On that note of music, if you were a DJ, what will be your AKA? Mine will be Floweezy. Like DJ Floweezy in the mix.
Yeah. I don't know, huh? Maybe DJ Slick.
DJ Slick. That's so. DJ Slick, like,
DJ
wow.
Slick.
All right, what the pun and it?
Yeah.
Like, I always think to myself, like, what would I be doing if I was not
doing what
I was doing? Like, I think like it's either I was gonna be on stage as a backup singer, or like.
Can you sing?
No,
They
no,
definitely wouldn't be a
no. Can it come my man?
Yes. All right. Yeah. No.
Something like that.
I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm doing what I was meant to do. I think.
You think so? But I know you play the piano.
I do.
Yes. Another one. Your favorite childhood memory?
Sure. Yeah, that's a good one. Look, I spent a lot of time in church. So my childhood memories are mostly in church.
Oh, so
I found a lot of peace in church. I was an usher.
Oh.
So for a long time.
So those are your favorite?
Yeah. So we used to
Oh.
come in the morning and pack the chairs neatly.
Oh, but
Yeah, no, that was me.
How
man. That was me.
Jesu.
Yeah, Modimo.
Oh,
That
wow,
was
that's
me.
great. So those
Yeah.
are where you spend a lot
Yeah,
of your time.
a lot of my
at
time.
church.
Yeah, for a
Oh,
lot.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. What do you enjoy about your life? This is question 4. What do you enjoy about
Well,
your life?
it's the freedom to do what I'd like to do. I think I'm at a point where I can choose to do anything that I want, and I think that's what I enjoy a lot. Is if I want to learn the guitar, I'll learn the guitar. If I want to travel somewhere, I can actually go and travel somewhere, and so I think it's the freedom that I enjoy. No, that's not.
No, that's not.
Pew, pew,
Okay.
pew.
You're like, I've got the freedom to do whatever I want.
Yeah, if I want, if I can
Oh,
afford it. That's what I'm
no,
saying.
no,
Ah,
no.
Kappa, please.
All right. Then lastly, your favorite meal.
Yeah, you see, I'm a very selective eater, so I don't
Uh-huh.
eat red meat. So I'm
Okay.
more a white meat person. And the funny part is I like plain things. So I don't like white sauce and all these funny things like in a pasta. I just want it nice, dry,
Grilled.
as it is. Plain. I'm a plain eater. I'm a very simple person. So, but I'll tell you what, one of my favorite things to eat is pap, right? Cabbage, right? Or spinach.
Like the efrailweni.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you will not believe this, but chicken feet.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
I know.
That is a me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah,
Oh,
it must
right.
be
I didn't
prepared.
know Ratamanduan.
Yes, I do. And
Oh,
you
you're
hardly
learning
get
new
them.
things.
Yeah, but like that are properly done. But yeah,
Ke
yeah,
tsona
I
tsa
can
hao
take
tseo.
I can sacrifice that. Yeah,
From Mantwana, this one is going to be my last icebreaker.
yeah.
Bentley or Rolls Royce?
Bentley.
Okay. Wabona sinoko. Asijaka Mantwana, jokes. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about MLM.
Yes.
Right. How did it start?
Sure. MLM started years ago. So
Uh-huh.
my first registration for MLM was in 2007. And the idea there was get a bakkie or two and basically transport products in between.
2000 and
Two
wow,
thou-
that's quite
2000
a long
and,
time.
sorry, not 2008, 2007, 2008. So,
Whoa.
yeah. So that was the idea. So buy 2 bakkies and then they would transport. And that's when it started. I did that for a little while and then I lost.
What were you transporting? It was just
cabbage. No,
cabbage.
vegetables. Vegetables, mostly
Oh,
cabbage.
Cabbage in it has a story.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I transport cabbage, but that was short trips and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, but that was like purely part-time. I had a full-time job. So got 2 bakkies and then that was the idea. It's just to transport and try and make some money there. And then, that lasted about a year and then kind of phased off completely.
But was that your first entrepreneurial venture?
No.
Okay.
So my first one was a company called MLM Entertainment.
Okay.
And I used to book DJs.
Hey.
Yeah.
Sleek.
Look.
Yeah,
I used to book,
there.
I told you.
Starts
DJ
there.
Sleek. So I used to book DJs and then allocate them to clubs that I was familiar with.
So you've always seen yourself all a boss on it?
Okay, yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say. You were going to make money, employ people,
Yeah,
and
I
just
was
make
always.
this thing happen.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I did. So my first
Oh.
company was MLM Entertainment, and that's what we would do. We'd get some DJs, and then we would book them into the different places.
Oh,
Yeah.
from church to DJ.
Yeah. The church.
to tracks
Yeah,
now.
I know the church thing. Yeah. After the youth, I think that's when we kind of went out.
And you explored.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
explored
yeah,
your
yeah.
entrepreneurial ventures.
Yeah.
So you started then doing the DJ thing, and then now you had 2 bakkies.
Yeah, then I went there. Then I got into the school environment, and I think the school environment is what kind of brought me back to kind of reality. So I had to stop the MLM Entertainment setup because it didn't, fit well with school. And then got into a school environment, varsity, and then I got into the bakkies. But the bakkies I was working full time. And then a year later, the bakkies thing didn't work.
What did you learn from that?
That you need to put yourself 100% into something. Don't be half. If you're half at it, you won't get it done. So I found that I relied on many other people to run the business for me. And then I started losing money because I couldn't account for the trips that were made and what was actually moved, because I relied on the people I had employed, the drivers, to be driving the bakkies. In actual fact, the first bakkie I bought disappeared. Yeah, it disappeared. So one of the drivers that I had, I think at some point just decided, you know what, this guy's never here. Yeah,
I'm
disappeared. Yeah,
gone.
Yeah, I left.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, that was very good school fees
yeah,
to
yeah.
understanding drivers now.
Yeah.
They can live with your
And
truck.
the funny part about it was I was paying an installment for that bakkie. I think it was about, I don't know, 800 or something like that. And I was paying for it, and I was paying for it while it was not there. Yeah, so the bakkie disappeared, and I had to pay for it, obviously, from a West Bank point of view, and then eventually finished it off. So it's a lesson I learned there.
That's interesting because you studied accounting. Why accounting?
My school teacher. I had a very good teacher, Mr. Basson, in high school, and he made accounting easy. So by the time when I finished, I kind of already knew where I was going. It was more commerce, so it was more business. That was, the sciences. I did science, I did biology, but the liking, I think teachers play a very big role into what you eventually become. And I got along very well with that teacher, and that's how I went that way. Yeah, so it was pretty much my second choice. My first.
What was your first?
Medicine.
Oh, really?
Yes, my aunt is a doctor, so she inspired me a lot because she was the only one that was doing well in the family at the time. You're like,
They listened to it.
Yeah. Rich and bad.
Again.
Yeah. There's no meeting that happens without my aunt. Yeah.
Doctor.
And she was the youngest born. So even my dad, they'll just be there. Doctor, doctor's coming. And then when she comes, you can start the meeting.
But you started seeing yourself at that point, because I want to type in, obviously, as we have the conversation, to where you are now, because you're not literally far off from having aspired to see yourself playing, being in a position of leadership and pioneering various things. So that inspired you, and then you did accounting.
Yes.
Post articles, when did you then revisit transportation?
Well, the funny part is that I've always, even when I was doing articles, I always would open up a company there and think I'll do something. And so it's always been something that I wanted to do. And when I finished articles, I was very clear that I wanted to get into entrepreneurship. It was very clear from the beginning. The challenge was what to do. So I thought I could do some consulting. Maybe I can do that. And indeed, I did consulting for a little while. Then I thought, consulting, you still have to do timesheets, and you still need to account for your time, and people don't want to pay you for your value. Then I stumbled upon logistics purely because I felt that I'd started it before, and because I did it half measure, I thought, let me do it again.
Really?
Yeah, but this time around,
was that the trigger? Just like, I tried this,
and I didn't do it well. It's always at the back of my mind. I tried this thing, it didn't work. I don't know, and I figured out why it didn't work. It didn't work because I was not in it 100%. So then I thought, okay, if I buy a truck and I'm there 100%, maybe that can work. So that was the idea. But then I needed to afford a truck, so I couldn't afford one. So I realized that I have to do the 85. I have to push that avenue. But then I have to be very smart about how I use my money. So I got a small little apartment. I think my apartment was unfurnished for probably 3 years. Just had a bed and one couch. But the idea there was I needed to buy a truck. So the trucks that I was looking at the time was these pick-it-up trucks. That was my thinking, that this is necessary.
Yeah, the waste trucks.
Waste trucks, yeah. Until I realized that there's so much political involvement in getting one into a route. Then I thought, maybe not. And then I thought maybe I should get a bus. And then Putco, that environment there, and I tried to do something with Putco. That didn't work too well because I thought I could come in as an incubate, get incubated in the system. Didn't work. And then eventually, some guy at the sales, mark where I was trying to buy a truck said to me, listen, a salesman said, buy a side tipper. Because the side tipper, you can literally go anywhere. You can go into farming, you can go into mining, and just literally get a side tipper. It's easy to load and it's easy to offload, right? And it's simple. yes, it's going to break there and there, but I can tell you they're built for fit. And I thought, if they're built for purpose, maybe then I should get one. And that's how I got my horse and trailer.
Oh.
Yes, and I got the horse and trailer. And then I said, well, there we go. Let's see.
And this was still while you were doing your articles?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
no,
yes.
now you were working.
No. Then, no. I was finishing off my
Your
articles
articles.
before I bought my truck, though. So there was still doing the research thing. So after my articles, a year or two later, only then did I buy
Who gave you your first contract?
I didn't have a first contract. I had purchase orders.
Oh.
Yes. So for my first 1 to about 5 trucks,
yeah.
it was more purchase orders. I didn't have a contract because they would say you're too small to have one. The market didn't trust you if you came with a truck.
Yes.
Your drivers also didn't trust you.
This is how many years ago, Mark?
So I started in 2015.
2015.
2015 is when I...
Good, close to 9-10 years ago.
Yeah. So 2014, I resigned from work. And then from 2014, I didn't work. I was just with whatever I had and trying to get this logistics thing. I got my first truck in 2015.
Oh.
Yes. And then in 2015...
You worked through purchase orders.
Yeah. I started doing purchase order, a route at a time. And subcontract there. And then I think my first big contract came in 2018.
Really?
Yes.
So when did it bite you? Because at MLM, your guys' tagline is logistics is our passion.
It's our passion, yeah.
When did it bite you?
When I was in it 100%.
When you were in it 100%.
Because then it became a mathematical journey, because a trip, you have to calculate the whole trip from A to B. You know, you have to know what it will cost you to get onto the road. What are your insurance costs? What are your bargaining council costs? Literally everything. There's a saying that says, when your wheel turns, you know, you need to be making money.
Yeah.
So every time when that truck gets started and it gets off the line, I have to be making the back. But you have to calculate the back. So, you know, with trucking, I think a lot of people can attest to it. Your first few trips are a loss.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But there's a learning. That journey for me is what was important, because you learn as you go on. So you now realize, okay, so if I'm going into this environment, I need to have these kind of tires. All right, so if I compromise on tires, I compromise on the quality of the drive. And then you start to find your way through it, you know, calculating cost per kilometer, per ton, you know, and. So because I'm quite good in maths, those things just naturally came through.
Came to you, yeah.
But the reality is you needed to, you know, follow the route. So most routes that I get, I would follow. I'll drive the route myself. If my first few trucks, as soon as it gets loaded, I'm behind them right through. So I understood the journey from taking it from here to Maputo, or from here to, I understood that journey.
You literally got in.
Literally.
Hands
100%.
on deck. You got yourself dirty in it.
That's it, yeah.
That's interesting. So within that first, let's say the first 1 to 5 trucks, I'm sure you've had lows, because you're saying in 2018 you got your big contract.
Big one,
That was a high point for you. What were the lows?
Look, the lows was cash. Yeah, so you find, I mean, your trucks never, at the time, I think I bought mine for 800,000 or something like that. And then you've got a trailer, which is also 700 as well. So you need you need about, say, 1.6 to have a horse and trailer, a good one for that matter. And then you have to fund it in terms of funding the truck, but also the fuel cost. And then also funding the guy who's giving you the money, the client. So some clients would say, well, you're supposed to be here at 8, but you only got here at 10. I'm going to pay for this load. And you're stuck. So I found that I struggled a lot with the cash flow. And what it needed for me to do at some point, I actually thought of going back to work, to your 8 to 5, building a bit of cash flow and coming back. But I knew that if I do that, then I'm not going to come back.
Yeah.
So I stuck it out a lot. I had to, because it was tough. You know, and I always say business is tough. I think the reality is people think, you know, they see you driving Bentley if you have one, or whatever it is that you have. But it's tough.
It's hectic.
It's very hectic.
Hectic. What would you say it's costed you?
A lot of sleep, mental health. Yeah. I've had to channel myself, build myself, constantly talk to myself and motivate myself. So I'm more a loner. So I spend a lot of time by myself. But that time when I spend by myself is more just encouraging myself. I spend a lot of time telling myself, you're going to be fine.
You're going to be fine.
Yeah. I spend a lot of time talking to myself. And I think that's helped me a lot from a mental health perspective. Because no one
We'll do that for you.
no, and no one
It's
is going
very
to pick you up.
lonely, eh?
Oh yeah.
It's very,
Oh, yeah.
very lonely.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
When you hit, even at
yeah.
night, like earlier on when you're asking me, how was your week?
Mm.
And I said it was productive. I said like 5 things.
Yeah.
Because within a day, you literally have to be prayerful. You literally have to find joy. You literally have to play. You literally have to constantly keep yourself going all the time. And it costs you a lot. And why I'm asking you, what has it costed you? Because from the outside, people don't know your sacrifices.
Yes.
From the outside, people don't know, even your employees. They're just seeing you, scale this business, it becoming what it is. And some of the benefits of it, or the material benefits, but you are a person and it's costing you a lot. This week, and I want to tie it on, around some of the things that it has costed you, such as probably friendships, relationships, family. And things like that. And what would you say to young entrepreneur now watching, and they are at one track, between 1 and 5, and things are falling apart in the sense of they sacrificing a lot of it's costing them a lot. It's costing them financially. It's costing them relationally.
Yes.
What would you say to them for them to just hold on and as they are building their business?
I think the first thing that they need to, or what you need to ask yourself is, do you want to do this? I think it's a very, very, very important question for yourself, because once you've made that decision, then you can easily make the second decision. The first decision is, do I want to do this? If the answer to the question is yes, all right? So firstly, if the answer to the question is no, then stop. Because if you continue, you will literally take yourself to the grave. Okay? So the first question, do I want to do this? If the answer to the question is yes, then the second question then is, am I willing to sacrifice, or what am I willing to sacrifice to get that? Because as soon as you get to the second question and you figured out what you're willing to sacrifice, then you realize that, well, it might be then, if I put all this effort, it probably will be worth it. All right. But the reality is you will struggle to get to maintain friendships. You will struggle. You will struggle to maintain just basic relationships with anybody, because what's on your mind is just multiplying all the time. There's so many things, and it's not about the money. It's about you building what you want to build. If it's a legacy, and sustaining it. Yeah, because the reality is, and I always say, if you're out of the public or out of the corporate space for over 5 years, it's so difficult to go back.
You can't.
No, because in actual fact, no one wants you back. Because, okay, wait a minute. So you were an accountant, you left. So you haven't practiced accounting in 5 years. And you're back. Things have changed. I mean, accounting standards change. The treatments and disclosures change. So what are you coming to do? Correct. So there's that part. And that's why when you answer the first question and leads you to the second question, then my advice to you is fold your sleeves, buddy, and go for it.
And get into it.
Get into it. You will cry.
It's normal.
You'll
in
cry.
Our life. Very normal.
You'll cry.
You will. You will cry.
This thing of indota Kali doesn't work.
It isn't.
You will cry.
And so 2018 happens. You get your first big contract. And since then until now, you've scaled pretty much.
I have, yes.
It's grown quite, you've expanded quite much.
Yes.
What has been the challenges then from having those 5 tracks to now you're over 50?
Yeah, so I think we didn't realize that we got to 50 plus until we actually got to 50 plus. I think at some point, remember, and this is the funny part about fleet, is that you've got 50 horses, but then you also have 50 trailers. And often, if you look at from a cost point of view, those 50 trailers from a site tipper point of view, it's actually 50 times by 2 because it's bins, right? And those bins it's a vehicle, or it's considered to be a trailer with its own natas, dock and end. So when you look at the numbering then, and that's what got me to realize that, wait a minute, I've actually gone, you've expanded to a certain extent. It scares you because you've now become big.
Yeah.
And among
And in a short space
In
of
a short
time,
space
so
of
to
time.
say,
Yeah.
because it would normally take people 20 years,
it does
maybe,
It
and
does.
you have been like it's 6,
Yeah.
7
kind
years,
of, yeah.
so to say.
So what we
I'm
did,
saying from your first big contract
oh yes,
to now.
yeah. So what we did was, and I say we a lot because I'm my team form a big part of
Yeah.
what we do, and the idea there was every time we made a profit, we went and we bought a truck. So we sacrificed enjoying so much of what it is that we were doing and reinvested into the business. So every time we made profits, we reinvested 70, 80% back into the business, got another truck. So every third month or fourth month,
You were buying a
I was
truck.
buying another truck.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's how we did it. And I think for most entrepreneurs, the what advice I can give you,
Yeah.
particularly if you're in logistics, is try and grow your fleet, because people take you seriously when
With
you
a
walk
bigger-
in
yeah.
with your big fleet. If you walk in with 2 trucks, 3 trucks, there's always a bigger player who's going to tell you, you're too small to take a risk on. Subcontract under an MLM, subcontract under Florence Logistics.
But then I guess for you to have been able to invest in your business like that, and we're going to talk about your team and the
Yeah.
kind of leader you are, because I
Yeah.
have a little bit of proximity.
Yes.
So I'm always at awe
Yes.
at how they respect you and how they feel like it's also their business. I don't think a
it
lot
is.
of people really
Yeah.
get to do that. There are certain things that you had to have in place for you
Mm.
to be able to be in a position where you are reinvesting every third month
Yeah.
financially to keep the company afloat.
Afloat.
What must people do? What can somebody do to make sure that if I want to keep on reinvesting in my business, what are the things that I need to have in place, and what can I sacrifice now so that I can grow my fleet and I can get to 10?
So I think the first thing is rands are made from cents. It's very important that you calculate everything to the T. Start to look at your business and take it a bit more seriously, so you can figure out where you're bleeding.
Yeah.
There are some parts in your business that you are bleeding. If you just take a good look, you begin to see, wait a minute, I'm actually paying too much for insurance. Why am I paying this amount when the next guy is not? So focus on the small things, first of all. The bigger things will always come. I think what I learned with the business is the more you're at it and the more you give yourself into that business, the bigger contracts will come. But you be careful about getting the bigger contracts when you're not ready. So start with those 5 trucks that you have and create systems and processes that manage those 5 trucks. So that when you expand to 10, those 10 just come in a system that works. But you cannot do it by yourself.
You can't do it by yourself.
So your team becomes important.
But how have you managed to build a good team? Because
I prayed.
you prayed about it.
I prayed about my team.
Yeah.
I
How did you pray? You know, somebody's gonna say, "Ke batla thapelo
Yeah,
ye."
Juan.
Like, what were the prayer points? What did you say?
No. You see, because and that's why I'm taking it back to where I come from. I've always been in the church environment, and Christ has always
So
been
why
my
did you
lead.
why do you like teasing me? Anyway, yeah, continue.
So
Christ has
I've always
been
been
your foundation.
So always foundation.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
and that's why I said that I'm often by myself, and
Yeah.
I'm often meditating
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
into what it is that I want to do, what I'm
Yeah.
doing now, and
Yeah.
so I've found that with my team,
Yeah.
I've prayed about my team.
Yeah.
Often I say that I've sacrificed so much, Lord, that you would bring me the right people.
Yeah.
And he's brought me the right people. And the people come, and the ones that are not meant for fit or purpose quickly leave. But you will see with my team that they've been there with me for some time.
Yeah.
And they've seen this multiple expansion of the business. And it's really not a Mark thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing of let's go together.
Let's go together.
You know, and just a couple of weeks ago, we're joking that somebody comes into the company as a PA, for example, and quickly they end up being a PA,
Chief of staff,
marketing and sales,
everything. They learn quite a lot. They learn quite a lot. And why I'm asking you about that is because we have conversations a lot with entrepreneurs, and we know that a lot of them struggle in building teams. People struggle having the right employees.
Yes.
And yes, you mentioned the importance of prayer, which I completely agree with. And just having the right discernment to understand your own, the culture of your business. But over and above that, I think you have also, implemented, or you also have a certain skill set around leadership.
Yes.
Because I've been around your team.
Mm.
I think I'm part of the ornament
Of the mini team.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes. Right there. And I am at awe at how they really think, like they believe it's also theirs. They take ownership of your business. What leadership trait is that? Or I don't know how to explain it, but what have you done consciously as a person, as a leader, that everyone in your business, I mean, from the cleaner to, to the extent that your chief of staff, hashtag the executive PA, come herself, it's like, it's her business.
Yeah.
All of them feel like this is our business. We're building this. How did you get that right? Because a lot of people don't get that right.
Yeah, I think the what I've noticed with entrepreneurship, even just as being a boss, is that we must be very careful about that term boss.
Boss, yeah.
Because a boss, often in the circles that we're in, is somebody who's in control, is in charge, is the big guy. And the problem with being the big guy is that you don't see certain things. And if you don't have a good leadership style, they won't tell you that you're about to trip. They'll just look at you. And actually, when you fall, they'll probably crack up in them. Yeah, we're just waiting. But when you become inclusive, and then you become transparent as well, and they must know what keeps you awake at night. And once they get to know that, and they get to understand that this is what keeps this guy awake at night, they themselves take ownership and take responsibility for their roles. And they realize that each of us who are sitting here contribute overall to what not just he's going through, but what we are all going through. So from the cleaner to they know what our strategy is looking like for the next 5 years. When we purchase things, big assets, we talk about it. Everybody knows about it. And somebody might say, maybe you're giving too much information away. You see, so there's a lot of that. But my school of thought is always, if I bring everyone together with me, surely together we can accomplish much more than I can accomplish by myself. And by myself, believe it or not, is not a very nice place to be in. Because when you're by yourself, the only thing you know, it's like talking, where they say, if you talk too much, you learn nothing. Because you're always the one who's talking. So in my teams, I'm always the one who says, if I don't know, there's always somebody who's going to pick up their hand and say, but I know. And I'm willing to listen because I don't know. So because you know, but you might be the cleaner, you might be the PA. I mean, you learn from everyone, hey? I've got people who started with me as a PA, then she eventually became a compliance specialist. And now she does all my ISOs and all my certifications. She's literally become an
specialist in that.
And just overnight. And she went her journey, and that's how she contributes to the team. So what I found is, come into the circle, find your feet, and identify where you think you can do best, and then sit there.
But I guess you create space for them as well. So on that, before we move to something else, the role of personal development, right? We met. You're doing your MBA. That's how we met. How much of that plays a role in an entrepreneur, personal development, or even in just how you're building your business? Because I think a number of people just start running their businesses and they don't think to study further, to learn anything new, and that stifles the growth of their business.
Absolutely.
So to the viewers, somebody that wants to grow their logistics companies, what would you say, they need to, or how would you encourage them to take personal development, even in academics, seriously?
Well, I mean, that education for me is very important. And I mean, I've got 2 master's degrees.
I didn't know.
Yes.
Is it true?
Yeah.
Hey,
So,
bim,
oh yeah,
I just thought it's one.
no, it's 2. But if you look at it, it's personal development that I looked at, because the reality is you won't be able to identify the risks. You see, that's the thing. So the exposure, some people would say, just run a business, get into it, you're an entrepreneur, run it. Yes, you can, but there's so many other things you don't see. So what education does is that education is not really about the specialization of it, of a course. Education is about, it teaches you applied thinking.
Mm-hmm.
How to think through something. So you think about it
Very
logically,
analytic, yeah.
then you become analytic about it, then you think, all right, in a situation, how would I do? So it's all about applied thinking. I often say it's not because you went and did a specialization in medicine, and therefore, no, it's about your ability to think outside of a situation, because that's what it teaches. That's what varsity teaches you.
Yeah.
And often you can see somebody who's been to varsity and someone who's not. The ability to go through something and navigate through something and apply your thinking to it starts with personal development. You don't have to go to a university. You don't have to, but do a course in bookkeeping so you can understand that when you talk to your accountant and he's talking to you about this is the asset value, this is you already know what he's talking about. I don't have to be a specialization in it.
Yeah,
I just have to know.
There's a saying that says know a little bit about something.
That's it.
And know everything about the little bit you know.
That's it. That's exactly it.
No, I'm all for that.
Yeah,
I'm all for that.
And I think I mean we've interviewed entrepreneurs here, and you would agree that most of them have said the foundation was really going back to school and getting something. And then I say and that's the thing. It's been in that environment with people who are thinking alike. But people are also able to stretch your thinking. It's just applied thinking. And it teaches you that. So when you come out and get into a road on a journey of entrepreneurship, you now start applying that thinking.
Yeah, and also I think it's, for me, I think most of the time I try to expose myself to things that I would have never been otherwise in a position to be exposed to.
Yes.
So it's similarly to traveling or going to different conferences, listening to different podcasts, that you should not be stale. You should constantly apply yourself to learning something new. Even this, we learned it as we're going, you know, around podcast. Risk is a big thing. You live in uncertainty every day of your life.
Every day.
Even in this moment, we are in uncertainty. We are not too sure if the
anything can happen.
Will be back.
Roof can fall.
Right.
I tell you.
The risks, what would you say has been, you know, like biggest risks that you faced in the journey? From 1 to over 50.
Yeah, you know, my biggest risk is not being able to pay my staff.
Yeah.
That's what keeps me like, you know, with this business you can plan. But man, life
happen.
Sure.
Life happens.
And after that, you kind of have to bring yourself back and say, all right, plan A didn't work. Plan B. You know, so you always have to have a plan A, plan B, and I often say, damn, have a plan C.
A lot of responsibility that you have upon yourself.
Yeah. So we I mean, in the group we probably have over 200 employees, so it's a bit of a tough one, but I think the importance for me is seeing my team.
I hope you heard that. 200 employees.
So I think for me it's the idea of seeing them grow, you know. Like seeing them buy a car, seeing them buy a property. I know you post them and you're like,
yes, oh my gosh.
That's exciting. Yeah, that's very exciting. Seeing them grow, you know.
Did you start your business with that? We're still going to get back to the risks because I think there's quite a lot of risks that you deal with. But did you, when you started up and you saw your group, obviously there's a group and MLM is part of the group.
Yeah.
Did you start off to say, you know what, I want to create X amount of job opportunities and I want to impact people's lives like this? Or is that...
It's always been,
Okay.
Yeah. I think job creation, for me, the solution to South Africa's problems is entrepreneurship. Because entrepreneurship creates employment for people, and through employment creates other opportunities and people. And I often say, like, let your employees also believe and want to be entrepreneurs. I don't want someone who's going to come and work for me and not want to do even better than me in the space that I'm in. If you're working with me, you start off by working for me. In that process, I'm going to get you to work with me. Yeah. It's very important. Yeah. I don't want somebody who works for me. Because if you work for me, then I am your channel. No, I don't want that. Because then everything I say, you're going to say yes, yes, yes. I don't want a yes boss, yes boss, yes boss. I want someone who can say but. And if you look at my people, generally, my meetings we are fighting, man. Yes, no, I don't think it's a good idea. What? And sometimes, guys, wait.
Who's paying salaries?
You know what I mean?
Who's
But-
paying
But the
salaries? Yeah.
important thing is that they can express themselves. You know, I've got a team that would say to me, I don't think that's a good idea.
Got it, yeah.
I think maybe we should do this. And someone comes and says, no, I don't. And that's what you want.
Yeah.
You don't want to be
Robust conversations
Conversation.
that are constructive and
100%.
progressive.
So that we can
And
get
it's-
that strategic IQ from the team, and I know what they want. So for me, that's the importance of this thing.
Yeah.
You know, so the more they're in it with me, the better it is.
The better.
But at the same time, if you're sitting there and saying, but you know what, I also think that I could possibly open up part of the logistics team, for part of a logistics channel that I
Yeah.
think has got an opportunity.
Mhm.
Maybe I'd like to partner with MLM, and you're
Yeah.
my employee with me. I'm willing to listen to what you're saying, because
Wonderful.
the important thing there is that now you're given an opportunity to shine, and I'm going to support you. If you need MLM to support you in that journey, we are together. No one is tied at MLM or even at any of the group companies I have to be just for me. And no, I want people to come in and say, we are together. And if one day God speaks to you and says, go open up a fuel company, and you feel you can do it, and you come talk to me about it, and it's not in my space, or even if it is, let's see how we can work together. I don't have issues with that, because that's how I managed to get to where I got to. I've found people who have given me a listening ear, you know, somebody who's listened to me and say, okay, tell me what you think. And that's important, you know.
And let's just go back to the risk. So you said, you know, making sure that your employees are paid. What as well?
So one, making sure my employees are paid. Very, very, very important. Number two, the conditions of my fleet. So the condition is very important, because to transport a product from A to B, the actual truck needs to be in good condition. So your team needs to understand that that's how we make money. We make money to take from one to another in the shortest space of time, but at the most safest. You need to be safe. Efficient. Now, efficiency goes with a lot of safety. I don't want somebody, and I used to have that, where people, you know, in logistics, you get paid per load, right?
Yeah.
And you find drivers, because now in his mind he's calculated that he's going to do 10 trips, or he's going to do whatever, 5 trips. And when you calculate it yourself, you think you can only do 3. But for him, 5 is good, because he makes more money.
Yeah.
So his thinking is, I'm going to push this.
Yeah.
Right? Now there's that. That's a big risk. And when
I'm
I
gonna
see that,
sweat this driver.
I'm going to, yeah. So now the driver is thinking, no, if I do 5 loads, I make more. But in my mind, I'm like, you're not going to do 5 loads. You're only going to do 3 loads, because you are safer. And for me, it's the most efficient way. So you need to be very active in this space, very active, because you've got those kind of people who can say they're going to do 5 trips, get into an accident, and die.
And there goes your asset, eh?
There goes your asset, but there goes, most importantly than just your asset, the life.
And somebody's father and somebody's
Yes,
husband.
yes.
You just spoke about loads now, and rates are a very important thing.
Yes.
Calculating rates are very important in the industry. Who taught you how to calculate risks, and where were your mistakes?
My mistakes was I always undercharged, funny enough, because I thought that would be the best way to get into the business. But then you realize that your margin is so small that in actual fact, you shouldn't be charging that. You should be actually getting to a point of getting to a space where you can actually say, I'm making something out of it. And that was my biggest learning curve. I learned how to calculate this thing. And in actual fact, I should actually do a masterclass of it, because I think we've got it now very, very, we're comfortable with it. I mean, I've been doing it for years.
Hashtag masterclass with Marcus coming.
Yeah,
as a
it's coming soon.
feature.
It's coming soon. Coming soon.
Yeah.
So I think I should do that, because that's really where you get the frustration. And then if you overcharge and you're not big enough, then the guy who's sitting on the other side says, I'm sorry, but So you've got that challenge. So I found that I needed to a certain extent, find a balance, be in the middle of that, and not throw myself too much on the left or too much on the right. And it's a tough one, as I say, because you could charge what you charge, the client has to accept it, and the client has to pay you. So there's payment terms. There's 60 days, there's 30 days, there's 45 days. Now you must remember, if it's a 30-day cycle, you're actually only getting your money in 60 days.
Yeah.
So you service the guy, 30 days you put an invoice, you're only going to get that money 30 days later.
Yeah.
Where do you get the funds to then take you from day 1 to day 60.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the problem is. And that can cause you nightmares. In
And
actual
that
fact,
can lead you to closing your business.
close your business down.
Yeah.
Literally. Because you've got 60 days to pay your staff, which is 2 payrolls.
Months. Yeah.
Because you can't wait for the 60th day to get your money. When you get your money on the 60th day, you would have already paid your staff. So you've got 2
You
payrolls.
should have had money before.
So you've got 2 pay. And I always say, build leg room. You need leg room for at least 3 months. If you've got leg room for 3 months, then at least you know that in the month that the mine or whatever it is that you is this, boom, you at least have got enough money to sustain you. Otherwise, you're not going to make it.
It's difficult also to get there because not everybody, you know, starts off with having, let's say, other income streams in the in their lives that can help them fund their logistics companies, and it's very capital intensive.
Absolutely.
Have you ever woken up and thought to yourself, no, man, I'm so cash strapped?
Every day.
As you are, every day. Every day. You know, you're like,
every day.
We can liquidate
every day.
Every day.
Every day. There's never a day that I sit there and think, we're good to go.
Yeah.
We're good. Every day I'm thinking.
But every day you're taking the risk.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every
It
day.
is what it is.
It is, and it's the industry. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I said to you, there's those 2 questions you need to ask yourself. Because you need to be 100% sure.
But even though you can be, you know, I can sit and say, yeah, this is what I want to do. I always say the risk is what you don't, it's not what you think it is.
Yes.
You know, you can say, yes, this is what I think. This
Yeah.
is going to be the risk.
The universe.
And I'm like, hey, the risk is not what you think it is. You know?
Yeah.
And you get a rude awakening only as you are traveling in the journey to say, hey,
yes.
hey, you know, this and this and that.
100%.
And as much as, so I was just wanting to go back to that, to the thing that you're saying to people that ask yourself, you know, they should ask yourself, is this what you're going to do? And in those moments, Mark, when you have had a rude awakening, like even when you came in, you know, one of your employees is like, hold on, we've got operations, I need you to do X, Y, Z, you know, and everything is cash related, you know. But in those moments where you're like, yo, I didn't see this one coming. Is it when, again, you step back and you're like, okay, let me speak to myself. I've gone through worse situations. How am I going to navigate this?
Yeah. Always.
Yeah.
I'm always thinking about it. You know, the funny part about this thing is that, and that's why, you see, you're answering the first question, you're right. And everyone's going to say yes, probably, to the first question. Yes.
Because they're going to look at, let's say, somebody like you or somebody that has, you know, a fleet of 30, and they're like, hey, did you see? You know where they live, you know, and everything, all the aspirations about, you know, what they define success is.
But it's the second question. Remember, the second question is, are you willing to give your all?
In the beginning, you are, Mark. In the beginning, everybody is.
Yeah.
You know?
Until you walk the journey, right?
I think bigger than that is why.
It's the why.
Yeah.
It is the why.
Yeah.
Look, I can tell you, one of the things that this thing does is it can change a lot of things for you and your family.
Yeah.
If you do exceptionally well,
Yeah.
then you can actually create platforms and create opportunities for your family, and your family can benefit from this and actually take that to the next level, next level. So I think it's all about what you're trying to create. Are you trying to create legacy? And but I think if you were to bring a lot of business people who have been at this thing for a long time and put them in one room and ask them if you take this 20 years back, would you do the same thing? I'm very sure that probably 90% of them would say,
it's rewarding.
Look, it's rewarding, but the pain and the journey. Some people would definitely say, no, I probably wouldn't. Probably stick to an 85 and take it from there. But on the other hand, taking the journey is what life is about.
Yeah.
I think going through it, getting hit, getting up again, I think that for me is what also motivates me a lot. And I've always said that, you know, failure and failure and failure again for me is the secret ingredient to success, because it's really what it is. You have to have failed so many times to get to a point where, and everyone has. There's not a single person who is very successful today, who has never failed?
Trust. Right? I've come to, you're not a very trusting person. It takes you time to trust people, right?
Yeah.
What has it been like that, and being very discerning, right? What role has it played in you building the business that you have?
So in the personal space, trust is very difficult because you never really know what people have in mind.
Have you been betrayed?
Yes, a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot. So you and those scars are there.
Yeah.
In business, the consequences are even greater, because if you put trust and they betray you, the financial consequence is huge.
Yeah.
And I've been there as well.
Yeah.
So you find.
Do you want to share? Can you share one of them? How much money did you lose?
I've lost a lot.
No, tell. Give
Look,
me the number.
Look, I'll give you an example. I lost a Baki.
All right?
Baki disappeared.
Baki was
God,
like, how much money did he lose? I want to know, how much money did you lose?
In air.
How many millions did you use? He doesn't want to tell us. Anyway, clearly it was a
it
large
was.
sum of
Yeah,
money.
you do. You do. You lose. You just not so long ago, right? We just found ourselves in a situation where we just lost a contract because people just felt that their agenda and our agenda was not the same. And our agenda was very clear on what we wanted to do, and the person just thought, well, you're not for me, therefore I'm going to tighten the grips and not release the contract. And you've got enemies everywhere. So you've got enemies within the corporate space. You've got enemies within just your personal space.
You just said so much so codedly. So much so
It is
codedly.
what it is. Ding, ding.
So codedly. We need to wrap up now.
Yeah.
I think you and I can sit
Yeah, we
here
can
for
talk
like
forever.
2 hours just
Yes.
going at it. Just 2-3 last questions, right? Top 3 things that young entrepreneur out there that wants to get into this industry, that do you think they need to know about starting a trucking company?
Okay, first thing is understand cost behavior. So understand your true costs. Number 2, seek mentorship. There are people who have been in the space much longer. They can give you good advice. Don't go at it alone. And number 3, partnerships. Find the right partners that can help you propel from one level to the other. Very important.
Corruption. A lot of people are stifled, and that's the truth. I remember one of the first time we worked together, it was at the Road Freight SME Summit Awards.
Yeah.
And you stood up boldly like, you are wanting to build the biggest black-owned.
I am going to
And
build
you're on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on. You're
Pure
on
black,
the
ne?
Pure. Not fronting.
No.
Okay.
Pure black.
Yeah. You're not Gianuniana.
No,
No, I'm joking. But I wanted to talk about corruption. Mark. The truth is, a lot of people are stifled. Their growth is stifled because corruption is rife, and people want all colors of envelopes.
Yep.
Females even worse. They even want your body for that. How do they navigate corruption?
I just gave you an example now of the contract that we
The
could
guy,
have had.
yeah.
And
No,
we didn't
I
have.
could read
You
it.
picked it up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't want to say corruption.
Yeah.
But so I know, and how I lead is to say, we are not going to get into corruption or any corruption deal because it will come back and bite us.
Yeah.
So whatever it is that you are trying to build, you might get it now, but in 3 years it comes back to bite. You would have lost so much. But that's the problem. That's the problem. No.
Yeah.
So we tried. That's one thing that you need to have in the entity or in your company, is that ethical bone.
Yeah.
And if you lead like that, then everyone kind of follows. But corruption exists. People target your trucks, for example, and it's going to happen. Metro cops, for example, would stop your truck every 30 kilometers or 15 kilometers. MLM, stop. MLM, stop. MLM. Hey, let's stop at the truck. But I mean, like, guys.
Not at all.
Allow us to function. Let's function and
Let's
there's
all
an ecosystem.
coexist.
It's an
Let's-
ecosystem.
yeah, let's
If I've not
coexist.
paid my ticket, fines, whatever, aside, give me the list, we'll
Yeah.
pay. But it's corruption exists everywhere. Cross-border corruption is crazy.
Yeah.
Inland crazy. But I think we need to look to government as well to really help us find a way out of this. And I think South Africa is at a point where now we need to, it's really at that point. You kind of need to save it. Because if you don't save it, it will turn. And once it turns, there's many countries that just thrive on corruption. And we can't be like that.
Yeah.
So unfortunately for some people, they can always say, I'm packing up. I'm going to Australia. I'm leaving. Some of us, there's nowhere to go,
Olapha ngoku.
here. It's
You're
mine.
just here.
Yeah.
And my last question, hopefully,
Yes.
this is the last question. What is success to you?
Oh, yeah, Flo always has these questions. They come from this corner. But I'll tell you, for me, success is what I said to you before, is the freedom. The freedom to get up and go and do whatever it is you want to do. I think that is something that I've always wanted. And I'm not there yet, but I think that for me is success.
He's now saying he's not there yet.
Not
In the
yet,
beginning, he said he's there.
But
Yeah.
but I think for me that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's the ability to manage your own time. Often we're forced to work for someone, work for something, and there's that time, and people pay you for your time, and it's all about time. And I feel that I've always found myself, always thought if I can just come out of this timing thing, and just be able to get up in the morning and say, I'm going to Durban, I'm going to work from Durban today, and get into my car or whatever, and get to Durban and still be productive, yes, but I can make those decisions. That for me is success. Success for me is not the money. I think I've learned that.
Wait until I have it, I'll tell you.
Yeah, that's what they say.
That's what they
But it's not.
say.
Guys, it's not the money. It's not, trust me.
That's what people say. Oh, let me have it then.
Then we'll
I will
talk.
tell
Give me
you.
the million, then
Yeah,
we'll talk
then
about
we'll
it.
talk about
No,
it.
guys,
Yeah,
it's
I
not.
know.
It's
I
not
know
the-
it's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
But let me say this before we end. I want to appreciate my people.
Yeah.
And I say my people because they're really mine.
Yes.
I take them very seriously. I appreciate them a lot. From my group, from the fuel team to the logistics team
We didn't even get to
to the
talk
property
that you
guys.
also run
Yeah. to-
R21 truck stop. We didn't talk about. No, we'll do another one.
We'll do another one. Yes.
Yeah,
but
because
everybody
we-
from
yeah.
everyone from X-Force, my security team, everybody, they play a big role in allowing me to wake up in the morning
Yeah.
and allowing me to be productive during the day and come back tomorrow again and again and again. And I think just having that for me is really what makes me, and I appreciate them a lot. We're growing every
Yeah,
day.
you are.
They're part of the vision. They're part of the team. I can't wait and I've always said that when I turn 50, maybe I'll be sipping on a pina colada
Hello.
and
With a cigar.
calling my team members on Teams and saying, how's it going, Buns? And one is there running a big portfolio. The other one is there
Yeah.
running their own thing. the
And
other
in
is
different
there,
countries
in
as
different-
well.
They're
yeah.
doing their things. I'm just sitting on this pinnacle. Where are you? Don't worry where I'm at. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But for me, that's what life is about. I feel when I see them change and become leaders and run these
Yeah.
things, and these things were meant to be ran by someone, and it's not always me.
It's
And I
not.
feel like I can bring it. I'm very good at starting things up.
Yeah.
But as soon as I start it up, if you're good and you want to do this, take it on.
Yeah.
Run with it.
There's
I
a
will
platform
support
for
you. So thank you for that. I want to thank you as well. You've really been you're part of the family, pretty much. And I think what you do.
But I haven't
is-
gotten my MLM.
Yeah, no, don't worry. Kamu will organize
Yeah.
that. Don't worry. T-shirt, aka. But I think we appreciate you a lot, and you're doing a lot for the industry. For a woman in the space, it's tough. Very well. You're often challenged in terms of saying, do you even know,
Yeah.
what you are talking about?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
but I think you've managed to create this platform
Yeah.
for us to be able to engage and tell our story and tell people exactly what it is that we face. But it's also because you have given us that ear and you've allowed this situation to happen. And I think people like you are really the pillars that this industry needs, because it's not legitimized. I mean, we all know.
Yeah,
And what we are trying to do now is to legitimize the industry together.
Yeah, true.
Together. And I think
Yeah.
it's the people, it's the trucks, it's government, it's the roads, that ecosystem needs to work, and that universe needs to work. So thank you for doing that and allowing us to do this.
And thank you for the support.
Yes,
you
we
know?
will support you continuously.
I have the pleasures of knowing you at a closer range.
Yes,
and it's
yes.
few people that when I sit with them, I can say their words are aligned to their actions. It's like somebody said they wrote a book and the review was, wait until the author's life is aligned to the author's words,
Yeah.
And I sit here and everything that you have said, I can attest to say, indeed, Mark is that guy.
Yeah.
And congratulations.
Thank
There's
you.
so much that we have not even gotten into.
Yes.
I mean, you are on the path of owning the value chain, I think.
Yeah.
You
Soon.
have,
Yeah.
you are on that path.
Yeah.
Is he not only transporting his own commodity?
He's
He's
so
also,
we will get there one day.
He's also, running a truck stop, the
Yeah, a
R21.
depot and a fuel depot,
Yeah. So if you see it, it's pink. The logo is pink.
Yeah.
We'll put it somewhere on the screen. Please go support them.
Yeah.
And I think we will meet again
you.
when we interview another entrepreneur. I'm
Yes.
trying to wrap it up, but my mind is like going
everywhere.
through. I want us to talk about this because I think
Yeah.
so many people are going to be so inspired by your story. And
Thank
I
you.
thank you for agreeing to do this because
Yes.
how rate
Yeah, I don't.
spotlight down when Marorata spotlight.
No.
With that, my chairperson of the Road Freight SME Summit,
Thank you.
a sponsor, a partner, a really good cheerleader,
And they
a
must come. They must
co-presenter.
come. You must come. They must
You
come.
have to come. Make
I
sure
will
that
be
you
there.
can-
Come.
You want to meet him? Buy your ticket.
Come. I want to see the young entrepreneurs. I want to see the old ones, the young ones, the middle ones. Let's share. Let's partner. Come. We'll be there.
Hundreds. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And it's a ciao.
Ciao.